What's going on YouTube? This is Marcus, the Debt-Free Dad here, and welcome to another video talking about personal finances. And soon we're going to be starting tracking my debt-free journey. Just to give everyone a heads up, we laid out, or I came up with the schedule for video and content release essentially 3 days a week: Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. We're going to release new videos on the channel. On Friday, this coming Friday, will be the first video I release that tracks my debt-free journey. In that video, we'll actually take a look at the debts that I'm currently holding, how much I owe, everything excluding my primary residence. We'll take a look at October's budget, and then fast forward to look at November's budget. And talk a little bit about holiday shopping. It's the season where everyone gets a gift, so a little bit about what I'm going to do to kind of prepare, or what I have been doing to prepare in advance for holiday shopping. Today's video is a celebration. It's a celebration of a monumentous event. I graduated from a prestigious university, and I did so cash fluent. I graduated from Financial Peace University. Round of applause. Yeah, I recently graduated from Financial Peace University, but if you clicked on this video, you're probably familiar with what Financial Peace University is. If you aren't familiar with what Financial Peace University is, it's Dave Ramsey's course on financial independence, financial peace, and becoming debt-free through a detailed plan outlined in the 7 baby steps. So in today's video, I'm going to give a little overview and just my thoughts and opinions, pros and cons about the Financial Peace University class. I'll talk briefly about Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps, and finally I'll let you all know if I'm following Dave Ramsey's baby steps or if I'm going to do something a little bit different. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Again, first and foremost, like I said, Financial Peace University is a class all about finances and becoming debt-free. I think it's 7 weeks long or 6 weeks long, and essentially how the course is set up. You have access to a lot of online content, training, discussion forums all about financial independence, becoming debt-free. You have videos that you're assigned to watch every week that kind of goes over the baby step and some of the key things you need to know to make smart, sound financial decisions. And then after the class, you meet once a week online via Zoom with your classmates and your instructors. Our class was fortunate enough to have 2 great instructors who can give us examples about their journey to become debt-free or what they did to achieve their financial independence. I mean, it was really cool that one of the instructors could tell us, like, yeah, I got the letter that they sent saying that I paid off my student loans, framed and hanging on the wall in my room. I mean, that was really a great thing. So that's essentially what Financial Peace University is. The next thing we'll talk about is just the plan that they outline, what the baby steps are. Everybody who's looking at this video probably, if you clicked on it again, you probably know, but for those who may not know, the baby steps are Dave Ramsey's detailed plan, step-by-step basis to become debt-free and gain financial independence. So the first step is $1,000 starter emergency fund. Second step is a debt snowball, where you list all your debts from smallest to largest, and you take any excess money that you have at the end of the month from the budget and you pay on that smallest debt and build momentum working towards the larger debt. Every time you pay off a smaller debt, you take those proceeds that you would have paid on that smaller debt and you snowball it with your excess money from the end of the month, and you put it on the next higher debt. And by the time you get to your final few debts, your snowball should be relatively huge, so you can knock those debts out very fast. Step 3 is after you paid off all your debts, you save a 3 to 6 month emergency fund of your expenses. Step 4, 5, and 6 are steps that are done jointly. Contribute 15% towards retirement, contribute to your kids' college fund, and pay off your mortgage early. And step 7 is building wealth and giving. And so now that we know about FPU, the baby steps, we'll talk a little bit about the pros and the cons of the course. I mean, I'm going to just be honest up front. I think the course was a great course. Um, if you familiar with Ramsey, watch his videos, you probably know what his position is on most financial questions. Avoid debt at any cost. If you're doing anything outside of this plan, you're wrong, and he's probably going to blast you, unless he's feeling a little empathetic. But that's really the basis of his plan. Follow the plan, avoid debt at all costs, with the exception of a mortgage. And even then, there's some restrictions on the type of mortgage that they want people to have, because they don't want people to be in debt for such a long period of time. And so I think the course is good. It was very informative. The videos are information that you'll probably have from watching online. I think the biggest benefit to the course is actually having a class where you engage with other people who are similarly situated. I mean, I had a really great class where people were interacting, asking questions, and the amount of disclosure, I think, was probably the best thing. I mean, people talked about their financial mistakes, their financial successes, the problems in communication when dealing with finances and spouses, and finances and relationships with other family members. And I mean, it was just a really good course to, it's really good to, what is the phrase, iron sharpens iron? It's really good to go through a situation with someone who's actually going through it with you, or who may have already been through it. So it's really motivating. And credit to all the outstanding people who are in our courses. We all keep up via group chat. Every week, certain people drop a little content, whether it's videos or just some encouraging words. So that's definitely a big thing. I really can't think of anything negative to say about it. I think the camaraderie of like-minded people trying to accomplish, become debt-free is the biggest advantage of it. I don't think it's really any cons. I mean, I would recommend it. I mean, honestly, if you're over the age of 17 this year and you're getting a Christmas gift from me, it's going to be Financial Peace University. Hey, here you go, Financial Peace University. This is what your gift is going to be. So definitely really can't think of anything negative about the course. I did miss a few days because I had some other obligations, but the instructors were great, still able to ask them questions, was able to review the content on my own, and even interact with some of the classmates for those times I missed class. So it was really, again, nothing real negative to say about it. I would recommend it for anybody, whether or not you think your plan is great or you know what Dave is going to say. I think having that network, seeing those stories on the message board about people paying off their house is just a great thing. All right, so the big question is, hey, Marcus, you're a debt-free dad, so you got to follow the Grand Poobah debt-free's model. Are you going to go beans and rice, rice and beans? When Dave Ramsey talks about you being out of debt, he means you have no life or no enjoyment until you're out of debt, until the only thing you have left is a mortgage. No restaurants unless you're driving for Uber or working inside washing dishes or something to that effect. So the question is, am I going to go that intense and that hardcore in my journey? Well, I understand that that's a proven method, but I'm going to do my own method. I think I did learn a lot about, how to self-control, making priorities amongst needs and wants, consistency and those type of things. But for me in my situation, I think that there's a model that'll be a little bit more conducive to what I want to do. So I'm about to go over some of the adjustments I'm going to make as I go through my debt-free journey. And again, this Friday will be the first video in the debt-free journey series. So I'll talk about identify the debts, look at the budget for last month, look at anticipation for next month, and just kind of go in and take that deep dive to the debt-free journey. First and foremost, baby step one, $1,000 starter emergency fund. I just can't be comfortable with $1,000 in the bank for emergency fund. I had a vehicle that had shock or something that went out on, and the part was $800. This month I had $800 in dental expenses for something the insurance didn't cover. So I feel like when emergencies pop up in this household, normally they're about $1,000 or more. I want to always be in a position where I can kind of knock those things out. So typically what I do for this step one, instead of $1,000, because I'm fortunate enough to be in a position to do it because of my budgeting, I normally keep between $5,000 to $10,000 in my starter emergency fund for emergencies. Sometimes that does adjust, but it never gets below $5,000, and if it does, it gets replenished back up to $5,000. But normally, there's anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 in that savings account. With regard to the debt snowball, listen to debt smallest to largest. Great approach, and I think that approach works, especially if you need to see consistent victories. I'm taking a little bit different approach. I do have a few smaller debts, $2,500, $3,000 here, but the approach that I took, I'm paying off two of my largest debts first because they have higher monthly payments going out. So this month, I paid off one vehicle that freed up about $350 a month moving forward. And my second vehicle I'll be paying off by December. That'll free up about $380. So now I'm looking at almost $800 that I have freed up to attack those smaller debts of $2,500, $3,000. Just a quick sneak peek. The end goal is to have all of my unsecured debt paid for by the end of calendar year 2020 and 2021. The focus will solely be on those annoying pain in the student loans. Alright, but that's how I'm approaching my snowball. I'm paying off the debts that have the highest payments going out, but I'm going to wrap up all the unsecured debt and pay all that off by the end of the calendar year. What I do with my emergency fund, the reason why I say between $5,000 and $10,000, for example, I knew I needed $5,000 to pay off vehicle number one that I had. So what I did was I had my $5,000 in there, and I would make the regular payment, but in my savings account, I just stacked up the money, and then once I had $10,000, I just took $5,000, sent it directly to the car company. It was finito, paid them off. So, I mean, you can do it either way. You can pay just your extra every month. You can stack up a big lump sum and pay it off in one huge hit. The bottom line, I think, as long as you're using the money to pay off debt, you aren't accumulating more debt and taking on more obligations. So that's kind of how I do it. Definitely, definitely will be building a 3 to 6 month emergency fund after I'm done with the debt snowball or my variation of it, paying off all my debt. These last few steps is where I have some deviations. Dave doesn't recommend investing until you complete and are completely free of debt. Me, again, I've been investing for retirement for probably 15 years now. That's probably the one thing that I've done most consistently. My job gives me a 5% match. So at a minimum, essentially at a minimum, always invest 5% to get the 5% match. So that's about 10% of my salary, or 5% on my end, 5% on the company's end, going into a retirement account. So I do that no matter what. I'll never stop that 5%, and I won't do anything more than that 5% until I'm completely out of the debt. But at a minimum, I'm always going to do that 5%, so I can capture that free money offered by my employer and just get the benefit of the compounding interest. I think this next thing that I'm going to adjust out of this baby steps are the contributions to the kids' retirements. The contribution to the kids' college fund. My oldest child is going to be going to college in about 4 years, so I want to make sure that he does have money in there to support those efforts if he doesn't get a scholarship, to be able to kind of help him, give him a lift along the way. So I've been consistently contributing to a 529 for my kids. I'll continue to do that. Again, I don't want to cheat them of their future. Yeah, if I didn't contribute it, could I get out of debt faster? Yeah, of course, it'll be more money, so mathematically, yes, I could. But the amount of time that it would speed up me getting out of debt isn't worth passing up on the investment in their future in my eyes. So I'll always contribute to their 529. So I'll definitely continue to do that. I think the final thing is, of course, once the unsecured debts are paid off, I'll attack the mortgage early, consistent with Dave's plan. Even though this isn't Dave's plan, I'm doing this my own plan, but I'll definitely attack the mortgage early. And then the final thing is build wealth and give. I think everyone does that. I give just as a matter of course out of obedience. So I always give 10% of my income. But that's really kind of my plan moving forward. That's what I intend to do moving forward. Um, so far, so good. I think the biggest thing is I'm not accumulating any more debt. I don't have any. Right now, I have enough money at the end of the month, so that's a good position to be in. I used to be in positions where it was too much month at the end of the money. Now I'm blessed to have a little bit more money at the end of the month, so I can knock out some of these obligations. But all in all, again, I'm excited and happy, and I don't regret taking the Financial Peace University course, even though I knew a lot of Dave's principles. It was a good course. I met great people who provided me great feedback, motivation, and encouragement. And it's good to track their journey and their progress. Now, I will tell you, if this plan that I'm doing blows up in my face and I don't gain my financial independence and become debt-free on schedule, at some point I'm not afraid to blow up something when I make a mistake. So it's a possibility if this doesn't go how I anticipated going in the next 6 to 8 months, I can blow up and I'll just adopt Dave's plan wholeheartedly because I was being hard-headed the first time around. So again, thanks for tuning in. Remember, new videos dropping Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. Friday will be the first look